Hello everyone and welcome to the 12th video lecture of Sales and Retail Management semester 6 model number 1. In today's video lecture we are going to study about consumer buying process. We have done this in semester number 4 in marketing management as well. We shall brush it again in this. So consumer buying process can be divided into two main steps, that is components of consumer buying process and steps in buying process. That is, this is consumer buying process, 5 steps, and these are the buying process or components. What are the components in consumer buying process? So these two things we are going to study in this. So now, what are the components in consumer buying process? If we see, there are three main components. That is, first you need to identify the various buying roles. Then you need to understand the buying behavior of the consumers. That is consumer buying behavior, and do a buying research or a buyer research. And also along with that, you should understand what is the buying process. That is the consumer buying process. So let us begin. First one, identifying buying roles. In identifying buying roles, there are different buying roles in an organization, especially if it is a B2B organization, or sometimes if it is a B2C also. See, what happens is, suppose what happens many times, a person who is purchasing a particular item may not be purchasing for him. So this is the thing that you have to identify, that many times when people are purchasing items, what is the role that they have. So certain roles have been identified in marketing. The first one is the initiator or the influencer. The initiator or the influencer is a person who provides information about the product or service. He is the person, he or she is the person who initiates the buying process. He incepts the idea in the minds of the customer that the customer may need the product and he should go to purchase it. Suppose if I tell you that yes, your tomorrow next semester is your project and probably you may need a laptop, so I'm putting an idea of purchasing a laptop in your mind. So this, I am becoming an influencer or a initiator in this case. The second one is gatekeeper. The gatekeeper is a person who controls the flow of information. So what happens in this case is, the gatekeeper is like the receptionist, for example. Suppose if you want to sell something to the doctor or any person who is there in a cabin, and he has a receptionist outside, then you have to go and meet the receptionist first. The receptionist then controls the flow of information, how much information has to reach the doctor, or whether the information has to reach the doctor or not. Sometimes the receptionist may send you back directly from there saying that the doctor is busy. Sometimes you may hand over the visiting card or a brochure of your the products, and those can be handed over to the doctor by later by the gatekeeper, in this case the receptionist. So basically the receptionist controls in this case the flow of information. Then comes the decider. Decider, as the name suggests, decides whether to shop the particular product or not. For example, in your home, suppose if you want to purchase a particular brand of toothpaste, who decides which brand of toothpaste is to be purchased? Is it your mother? Is it your father? Or is it you? So whoever decides which brand of toothpaste is to be purchased, then they become the decider. Buyer involves in actual purchase of the product. Buyer is the person who actually goes out and purchases. So now what is the difference between decider and buyer? Suppose your mother decides that you have to purchase Colgate brand of toothpaste. Then Colgate brand of toothpaste has been decided by your mother. So your mother becomes decider. She gives you money. You go to the shop and purchase it, you become the buyer. So you are involved in the actual purchase transaction. Then comes preparer. Preparer transforms the product into consumption. So preparer is a person who changes the product into a useful or usable form for consumption. For example, in a typical family consumption of food items, the mother plays the role of the preparer. So, especially suppose in food items, your mother becomes the preparer because she is involved into uh, preparing food items for you. So she will say, suppose if she wants to prepare idli, so she will tell you which brand of idli rava has to be purchased. So because she is preparing the item, or she is uh, converting the product into a useful form or usable form or an edible form in this case, so she is a preparer. The next one is maintainer. As the name suggests, maintainer is a person who maintains the item, that is, provides repair maintenance services. Members who service or repair the product, or so that it will be provided, or it will provide continued satisfaction to the customer. So any person who is involved into repair and maintenance of the services comes under maintainer. Then comes the user, that is the actual user of the person who uses the product or who consumes the product is known as the user. And lastly, disposer. Disposer is the person who decides whether to continue or discontinue using a product. For example, if you have a machine in your home and it is giving lot of problem, uh, there are a lot of frequent repairs, or it is not starting when you need it, or it is not working properly. So who is the person in your home who will decide whether to dispose it of or continue it using? So that person is known as disposer. Disposer also has one important role. He or she decides how and when the particular product has to be disposed. So this these are some of the roles that we see in marketing. Then comes the other thing, that is the model of consumer buying process. Now this buying process for types of buying behavior, in this case we have seen in semester number 4 as well. So what is this consumer buying process, or consumer buying behavior? So in consumer buying behavior, we have seen previously also that there are four types of buying behavior. First one, the complex buying behavior. Second one, dissonance reducing buying behavior. Third one, variety seeking buying behavior. And lastly, habitual buying behavior. So what are these? Complex buying behavior. Consumer buying behavior in situations characterized by high consumer involvement in purchase decision and significant perceived differences among brands are categorized as complex buying behavior. That is, there will be high involvement of the customer, and there is a significant difference among brands in complex buying behavior. For example, laptop. Now suppose if there is high involvement, suppose if there is high involvement of the person, that is of the purchaser, and there are few differences in the brand, then whatever you are purchasing, the decision, that is your purchase decision that you are going to follow, or the type of behavior that you are exhibiting, is dissonance reducing buying behavior. Consumers' buying behavior in situations characterized by high consumer involvement in purchase decision but few perceived differences among brands. Example of such is carpeting or tiling of your product, then of your room, sorry. Then the third one is habitual buying behavior. As the name suggests, you purchase here out of an habit. Consumers' buying behavior in situations characterized by low consumer involvement in purchase decisions and few significant perceived differences among brands. For example, whenever you are purchasing something like salt, sugar, or maybe matchsticks, here the price of individual price, that is price per unit of these products, is very low. So that is why we see that, also we see that there are very few differences among brands. So that is why the type of buying behavior that is exhibited is known as habitual buying behavior. Then comes variety seeking buying behavior. Consumer buying behavior in situations characterized by low consumer involvement in purchase decisions, but significant perceived brand differences are available. Then the type of buying behavior that is exhibited is known as variety seeking buying behavior. For example, restaurants, you might go and visit a restaurant nearby, and then you are might be satisfied with it, but still where you want to go and check out a different restaurant, not because you are dissatisfied with the earlier restaurant, but just because you want to check out what is the new taste, or what is the other restaurant offering. This kind of buying behavior is also exhibited in terms of biscuits. Suppose if you purchase only one brand of biscuits every time because you are satisfied with it, you are purchasing continuously. But when a new brand of biscuit comes in the market, you just want to try it because you want to seek variety. So such kind of buying behavior is known as variety seeking buying behavior. Now, after this, the third thing which we are discussing is the buying research. Now, buying research is a research that is to find out what consumers are purchasing, or what they are buying, when they are buying, how much they are buying, who is buying. So all these things. So certain research work has to be conducted. Generally, three methods are used in buying research: focus group interviews, in depth interviews, and projective techniques. So, let us understand what are these. Focus group interviews. These interviews are conducted by a trained moderator in a natural manner with a group of respondents. A focus group is a sample of respondents from the specified target market. Focus group interview takes place in the form of free flowing group discussion among various target groups. The moderator plays a key role to establish the rapport with the participants, to keep the discussion moving forward and probe the respondents to give certain insights to the problem. So, in focus group interviews, generally we have few participants, and these are probed, uh, or these are questioned, and these form a group known as a focus group who give responses to certain problems. The second type of buying research that we are going to do is in-depth interview. As the name suggests, these are in-depth interviews. Lot of detailed questions are asked. It is a method of obtaining qualitative data. Generally, it is unstructured, direct personal interview in which a single respondent is probed by a interviewer for knowing underlying motivations, attitudes, and feelings on a particular topic. So generally these are qualitative nature, as I've said to you. So you want to find out the motivations, attitudes, feelings, interests, opinions about certain topics from the consumers. The interviewer also encourages the respondent to talk freely. He tries to motivate the uh, respondent to come out and talk freely so that he can tell everything what is there in his heart, what is there in his mind, without any hindrance. The third technique that is used is projective techniques. Projective techniques are unstructured and indirect form of questioning that encourages the respondent to project their underlying motivations, attitudes, beliefs. Again, qualitative data itself, but these are unstructured and indirect. So what happens is, in projective techniques, generally the respondents are asked to interpret the behavior of others rather than their own behavior. With us, with projective techniques, what they feel is, see, if I ask you a question regarding why have you purchased a particular product, you may not tell me the correct answer. But if I ask you, why do people purchase, why, or why has that person purchased this product, then you may tell a particular answer to this, which is actually your correct answer. That is what, why you have purchased, that only you will tell. So that is what projective techniques are. For example of projective techniques which are generally used are word association test, also known as VAT. Then again we use tests like sentence completion tests, story completion tests, picture response tests, thematic appreciation test, role playing, third person techniques, etc. So such kind of things can be used to get data from the customer and do research. Then after doing this, the next thing that we have to understand is the steps in buying process. Generally, steps in buying process are put into these five steps, that is need recognition. It starts whenever the buying process we want to study, it starts with the buyer recognizing a problem or a need. The buyer, for example, suppose if you're watching a movie and suddenly an ad comes up of Coca-Cola, you feel thirsty. In an examination hall, you may be not be thirsty, you may be writing your paper, but someone brings out a bottle, drinks water. Looking at that, you will also recognize that you also are thirsty. So there is a latent need in you, but that has to be recognized by you. So that is nothing but need recognition. Only when you understand that you need a particular item, when you need a particular thing, then only you start getting information about it, then you start searching about it, and then only you will be motivated to purchase towards it. So the first thing very important in this is the need recognition. After need recognition, the next one is informational search or information search or search for information. Information about the felt need by the consumers can be collected through various sources. These sources may be personal sources, that is talking to friends, relatives. It may also be commercial sources like advertisements, public sources, experimental sources, and so on. So such kind of sources are there from where you can collect information about where to from where can I quench my thirst, or from where what are the things available and where are they available, which can satisfy my needs. The third thing is evaluation of alternatives. From the second step, you might have got various idea about what are the various items that are required by you, or what you may require to satisfy yourself when you do information search. So consumers evaluate various alternatives before making purchase. This evaluation of various things may be based upon quality, quantity, price, availability, timing, and so on. So they're based upon any base you evaluate these items. Then you take the purchase decision. The factors that influence the purchase decisions are things like product choice, brand choice, dealer choice, that is which dealer they have to purchase from which retail outlet, purchase timing, when they want to purchase, whether they want to purchase now itself or they will want to postpone their purchase or later they want to purchase amount, how much, or purchase quantity, how much quantity they want to purchase now. So these all things come under purchase decisions. And lastly, post purchase behavior. So what is this post purchase behavior? After making a purchase, the consumer experiences either satisfaction or dissatisfaction. This is nothing but post purchase behavior. Generally, if they purchase have are dissatisfied with a particular product, if they are satisfied, it's well and good. If they are dissatisfied, then it is the duty of the seller or the person who has sold the item to reduce this dissatisfaction, because if he is very much dissatisfied with you, then he will not purchase again from you. So it is your duty to reduce this dissatisfaction. Post purchase behavior can be further categorized into three types. First one is post purchase satisfaction, that is after purchase you might be satisfied. Second one is post purchase action, that is after purchasing what is the action that they are gonna take, consumers, that is they are gonna tell that they are satisfied, and they will tell their relatives, their friends that it is a very good product, and they become your ambassadors or advertisers. Or if they are not satisfied, then they also tell about the product and the seller in a negative way in the form of reviews. So such kind of things may happen post purchase action. And lastly, it may also be post purchase use and disposal. How are they gonna use the product, and how are they gonna dispose of the product? So these are the three things that may happen in this. So with this we end model number 1. If there are any queries, you can always contact us. From the next class we'll start with model number 2.